Peace, what's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, aka Soul Brother number one, reporting for duty. I am in the building with the Earth YZ Asia. I always got legends. Y'all notice I always got legends on the podcast. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for a legend, a living legend, YZ Asia.
It's wise Asia.
Right. I always mess up. I always mess up and call her YZ Asia. I don't know. I like remix your name or something. Wise Asia.
A few people, everybody have their own rendition, but
Yeah.
what you call it? I'm far from a legend. Yet I don't see myself in that. But I love the compliment, though. Thank you for
You're welcome.
seeing me that way. I
For
love the
sure.
love.
Now check this out. The reason why, like, I have people on here that I think they should get their flowers while they're still here because
Yes.
they've been around for a long time and they maintain and stand firm on their square and who they are. They didn't change. They didn't mix, dilute, or tamper with or any form their style, their self style wisdom. They're nothing. They who they are back then to now. Even though they do have some growth and things like that, but they still remain either 5% or more or whatever they what I'm saying, profess to be. So, I like to give people like yourself flowers and other people who are on this platform flowers that been in the game for a long. I don't want to call it a game, but I want to say uplifting fallen humanity, teaching the 85, etc., the uncivilized for a long period is for a long period of time. So, without any further ado, wise Asia, peace to the earth.
Peace, God. Peace to all
Peace.
the human families on the planet. Peace to all the brothers and sisters watching.
Peace. So we're talking about who are the 5%ers. Now, um, there are a lot of talks out there about who the 5%ers are. Some people claim to be 5%ers. They are by definition in the 16th degree and the 1 to 40. However, they are not what's considered a law's 5%. Now, I want to ask you, you hear that a lot in the 5% nation. What would you call a law's 5%?
So that's me. I'm of a large 5%. I'm not part of NGE. I got jokes on NGE. No good eaters, no good earths, you know. I
Okay.
got an array because real 5%ers make acronyms out of everything, right?
Right.
Um, but I'm of a large 5%. I was taught that when Allah started this, that's what the definition of the people were of Allah. And then after he returned, peace be upon him always, uh, someone or some people started to say that when he was in the hospital, um, he was saying that he was going to change this. Some people confirm, some people deny. I come from the denial tree. So I always say I'm of Allah's 5%, or I'm a daughter of Allah, or if I'm feeling real cocky and arrogant, I'm a true daughter of Allah. Peace.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I don't subscribe to the nation of gods and earth, and I don't have no gripe with those that do. It's not whatever you call yourself, a Moor, a Bay, a Muslim son, whatever you call yourself, if you're going to put in the work, then put in the work. And your name is irrelevant. It's the work that's important for me.
Actual fact. That's an actual fact right there. Okay, so um, when we're talking about 5%ers, that can go in many different directions. Okay, so how do you see the 5%ers? Who are the 5%ers?
I mean, so let's start with the 16th degree and
Mm-hmm.
lost and found Muslim lesson number 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mine says is, and that's so grammatically incorrect.
That
Mine,
is so.
I quoted who is,
Yeah.
okay? Who is the 5% on this poor part of the planet Earth? Now, the question alone is different from 15 and 14 because you got who is the 85, who
Mm-hmm.
are the 10%. When it gets to the 5%, it says on this, that's the difference, on this poor part of the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about a group of people in a very specific area, right? And what's
Mm-hmm.
the relevance? What is the significance? So you got to get into that. So the answer, right? They are the poor righteous teachers who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%.
10%.
For they are all wise and know the true and living God, and teach that the true and living God is the Son of Man,
Mm-hmm.
and teach freedom, justice, and equality to all the human families on the planet Earth, also known as civilized people and Muslims and Muslim sons.
Right.
So there's a lot to dissect in there
Mm-hmm.
because you're talking about a group of people, a
Mm-hmm.
specific location. They mentioned the 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go into who are the 10%, right? The rich slave makers of the poor,
Poor.
who
Mm-hmm.
teach the poor lies to believe that the Almighty true and living God is a spook and cannot be seen with the physical eye, also known as the rich slave makers of the
For
poor.
the poor.
So now you got to find out, well, who are the poor? So you're going to keep spiraling and spiraling. So let's take it back to the original question. So I already said a group of people, 5%ers.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that answer, you got 5%ers, civilized people, also known as Muslims and Muslim
Son.
sons.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to find out 4 different things. And why are they different? Are they the same thing with different names? Or do they have minor details which sets them apart? And are all 4 groups of people doing the same exact work? Like I mentioned in my introduction, I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care if you got to light a candle, chant with some beads, bang your head on the rug 5 times a day. Whatever you got to do to keep yourself civilized, to maintain humanity, do whatever you need. You need to burn incense and chant for, whatever amount of time to prevent you from going out here and being a horrible creature to society. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
What are they saying? Wazeja what? Bendición. Bendición a ti. ¿Cómo estás? Is that a male? Mikey Fever. My, my one and only Mikey Fever que no quiere hablar conmigo aquí, pero quiero hablar así. Está bien. Está bien. Yo te veo a ti. ¿Ok?
Uh-oh.
You see, he got off, right?
Yeah. So,
He like,
oh, he said está bien. Uh, Bill, so you were breaking down the 4 different
so,
types.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we don't believe in the teachings of the 10%, right?
10%.
We know that the true and living God is the supreme being black man and
Mm-hmm.
teach freedom, justice, and equality to all the human family. So we're teaching an array of things, right? We're teaching that God is not a spook because the 10% do that to um, to become rich, right?
Right.
Because Being a poor righteous teacher doesn't mean that you're poor financially.
Okay.
It's that you're teaching.
Hold on. All right. All
What are
right.
they saying?
It says, peace, wise age,
Pause.
watching live from Born Kingdom, aka Puerto Rico.
Hola, hola, mi
Hey!
gente. Hace ruido. Todo mi gente. Paz, paz. Con mucho gusto y mucho amor. Yo soy de Ponce. Mi familia de Ponce y Fajardo. Okay? So, yeah. So, boom. So, being a poor righteous teacher is not being poor financially. It's not that you're poor mentally. It's that you're responsible for those who are poor mentally. You're teaching those the right way. That's why you're righteous. A lot of people don't understand righteous, they don't understand civilization. And so that's why there's a lot of confusion going on in their life. And socializing, you're mixing with all a variety of people. So I'm responsible for the poor, right? They're the uncivilized people, poison animal eaters, slaves of mental death and power, people who do not know the true and living God or their origin in this
That's
world,
word.
and they worship what they know
They do
not
not
what. They're easily led in the
in the
wrong
wrong
direction
direction.
and hard to
Want to
lead
be
in the
led
right
in the right
direction.
direction.
So that's eight characteristics. That's eight things of an 85. Not to be in the category of an 85, you need all eight. No, no. Because you could be a vegetarian and still pray to a mystery God. I'm going to give you a celebrity for a perfect example. Erica Badu. She's a
Mhm.
Buddhist. She still worships what she knows not why. And she doesn't know her origin in this world because she's a Buddhist, right? And we learned about Buddhism in the last degree in the Word of Time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
So those are part of other nations that are not Islam. They have a birth record. And anything that has a birth record has a death record. So that's just to give an example that to be an 85 doesn't mean you have to have all eight. You can have, three or four or one, you know, and the most important one, not knowing your origin in this world,
Right.
because if you don't know who you are, you're not going to know who I am. You're not going to know where you're going. You're not going to know where you came from. You're not going to know what you're doing.
Hmm.
And that's what makes you easily led and hard to be, put in the right direction.
Right
You're
direction.
going to
Right.
fight me when I tell you that God is within you. When you look in the mirror, you're seeing God's creation. When you're walking and talking with me, you're walking and talking with the true and living God. He's not up in. You're going to fight me? No. But you're going to believe somebody who wants your money when they tell you when you die, you're going to meet your God. I'm alive here and now.
Mhm.
And I got to wait till I expire to meet my maker. That don't make no kind of sense. My maker created me in his image, and I'm on here doing his work, but I don't get to
Mhm.
meet him until I'm dead. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you.
For real. For real. Okay. So now we were going into the characteristics of the 5% because we remember we're talking about the 5%.
So
We're
yeah,
talking about
so right, so we're the poor righteous teachers. So again, we get serious when I do the rap, right? um, so they are the poor righteous teachers. I just explained. Don't let that word poor mislead you to thinking about finances. We're
Mhm.
not poor financially. Um, we're responsible for the poor-minded people, right?
Mhm.
That's who we are responsible for.
Right now, here's a
And
question, and here's a question in the chat because in response to that, he said, "So we don't teach the rich."
no, because we are the rich. The five
Okay.
percenters are the rich mentally. We're talking about mental status, not financial status. So someone could have a lot of wealth. I just mentioned a celebrity, right? Erica
Mhm.
Badu. We could teach her. She could come anytime and learn whatever she wants to
Ah,
learn.
oh, King Me, yo, thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. Ah, yeah, you just brought it home. Yeah, Wise Asia. Let's go.
What's so finances are not the poor and the rich that we're talking about. The poor mentally. So we're the rich, and we're held responsible for those that are not. And that's just life. According to these questions 14, 15, and 16, right? That equal 100. So I'm a 5%. I just said I'm of a lost 5%. So according to this group of this number of 100, that means when I meet 99 people, because I make the 100, right? 99 plus 1 is 100 for the slow people in the back that don't know how we got to 100. So it says 85 out of 99 people I'm responsible for. Me and my four. Because out of 99 people, four people are my alike because I make the five. 4 plus 1 is 5. So 10 of those people are the rich slave makers of the 85. So I don't believe in their teachings. As soon as they start talking, I check out. Because I know that the true and living God is not a spook. I know that the true and living God is the Son of Man, is the supreme being, black man and Asian. Now, I told you on the first episode that I did last year, not all gods are the same. Some gods are the gods of filth and nastiness. That's they wrong. That's just that's just who they are. Let's be clear. Not every god that you meet is the God of glory, greatness, finesse. You know, not all, not all gods possess those characteristics. Promote them. You see it in how they keep themselves, because your appearance is a reflection of your mental status. So when you see a female that got dirty fingernails and gook under her fingernails, you know she's filthy in her affair somewhere along the line. If
Hey,
their hair,
I judge women on that. I look at a woman's nails.
yes,
If them joints is looking crazy, I look away.
I mean,
You know, men too, though. Men too. Men too.
yes.
Yeah. Look at
I
them
had a
nails.
client that claimed a religion, right? He had mental health issues because all my clients have mental health and substance abuse. That's my group. And the dirt under his fingernails, and he claimed he washed his hands all day, every day. What they saying?
Judge a woman by how she folds her panties. Hold on. If that hoe don't fold her panties, hold on.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get that. I'm into that.
I'm a
I'm a
landscaper and I
landscaper.
make sure I have my ish clean.
Let's let's go.
Right,
I'm loving it. I'm loving all the comments. Love
right.
all the comments. Let's go. Let's go. I
Now,
see refinement is in the building tonight. I love it. I love
indeed,
all of y'all.
indeed,
I
indeed.
love all of y'all with quick with it too. They they got on that keyboard. They was
Right.
like, no. So
So
yeah,
now,
so we're
mhm.
all judgy. Let's be judgy and petty together. Love it. Love it. Love it. There's nothing I got refinement in my math and I got refinement in my alphabet. So it is important. It is important. Firstborn Prince told me because I got power or refinement. And he said, listen, power is the truth. So when you meet people, you're going to meet people of two ways. Either one, they're living in their truth, or they're cleaning themselves up so they can live in truth.
Mm,
And there's nothing wrong with cleaning up. There's nothing wrong. If you met me and I'm in the struggle and I got hard times and I'm hungry and all of that, don't that's my moment. That's what I'm going through.
hmm
But it's not for you to look down at me like, oh, this bum bitch or whatever. It's not for that because you don't know where I'm gonna be in a year. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what I have coming up.
hmm
So it's one thing if you see me year after year and it's the same shit. Yeah, oh, we're on year 2 now. We're on year 5 now. That means that there's no growth and development. That means mentally I'm dead. I'm asleep. I'm asleep at the wheel.
Right.
Because there should be some type of growth. We should be sharing some type of stories. We like I plan in 5 years on being on a yacht with you, Supreme, celebrating
For
your
real.
anniversary on these
NYP.
multiple millions. We're
Yeah.
popping some type of bottle. I know you
Right.
don't indulge in alcohol, but we gonna
No.
pop a bottle. Peace.
Indeed. King Mathalor. Peace. Peace, God.
Yeah, we gonna pop some type of expensive champagne and
Mhm.
spill it and be callous with it because we're there. Everybody that's in attendance has grown from
Right.
where the show first started to where it is.
Indeed.
So I'm looking forward to that. Like I'm
And-
looking forward to the live. That's
Right.
a big step up.
Right.
That's the prequel to the yacht. So,
Right. You see
but
it. You see it. For
I
real.
told you, I follow. I'm
Mhm.
following you, brother.
Indeed.
So back to the poor righteous, we digressed a little bit. The 5% on this poor part. So
Mhm.
the question says on this poor part, like why? Why the significance of this poor part of the
Right.
planet, right? Because there's such a great first of all, this was like wasteland. North America wasn't really um, productive. Like, what do we grow in North America? Like tobacco, corn. We don't. We're not. Our soil in North America is not really. You know,
In 1934, around that time, 1933, 1930s, and all that time, where the messenger and W.D. Farad came up with supreme wisdom, they haven't discovered what they might have discovered now in 2025. Like, there's a lot going on as far as Americans concerned, like oil and all types of
now
stuff.
that's the joke on the Indian because the Indian that sold Manhattan to the Pilgrim, he sold Manhattan for what? $24 or sixteen
Something like, yeah,
dollars,
something real cheap. Yeah.
and he laughed at the Pilgrim because Manhattan doesn't have rich soil.
hmm
But he didn't know what the Pilgrim had in mind because look at Manhattan now. So that's a thriving metropolis.
Right.
So joke on you, Indian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, this
Right.
is why we talk about in the 114 fair trading, right? So who was devil, the Indian or the pilgrim? The pilgrim had a determined idea. The Indian thought he was getting over.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why 120 talks about two devils, a made devil and a grafted devil. So that story with the Indian and the pilgrim is a clear depiction of a made devil and a grafted devil. Because a
Mm-hmm.
grafted devil's only going to do what it could do, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're mentally and physically less than. So you can't run the jokes on me, son. You're mentally and physically less than me. You and your woman and all the babies that you make are nothing in comparison to the original woman. So I don't fear you. You have no bearing over me. Nah, real devil. That's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're choosing to be other than your own self. And the devil, the last conversation I had with my educator, he asked me, he said, baby, what is a real devil? So I quote the degree. He laughed in my face like I said the funniest shit in the world. So I'm super confused looking at him. He said, you really think that's the devil that comes for you? And I said, well, that's, what the lesson say. He said, baby, the devil that comes for you is the devil that looks like you and speaks your language. I didn't understand that for 6 years. It took me 6 years to understand that. The
Mm-hmm.
devil that comes for you is the one that looks like you and speaks your language. I just told you a few minutes ago, 4 out of every 99 people are your Aalites. How many? So that means a good portion of your socialization daily is
Mm-hmm.
with your unlikes. You're spending time. That's how come when we were talking about the earth 2 weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And acting how to act at home with your husband, sometimes you gotta shut the fuck up. Cause he been out all day. And he gotta understand sometimes you've been out all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to unwind. I don't want to hear there's nothing for you to eat. And motherfucker, you was home before I got home. You didn't make nothing to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get hungry. You sat up here waiting for your mystery earth to come bring you food.
Right. Now I got a question, which I want you to clarify this because this is a good question. So, black on black. I just got off of work and had to tap in ASAP because Wise Asia be going in. Peace to the earth.
I love black on black. He be gassing me. Peace. I love it. I'm here for all of it. All of it. All of it.
So, Vaughn says, so you find the devil when you look in the mirror, meaning like the devil is when you see the person that looks like you has your own language, blah blah blah.
So that's not a mirror. A person that looks like me and speaks my language is not a mirror. And if I'm righteous, how could I reflect wickedness? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Like, sometimes you got to let your thoughts, move around before you spit them out. Because I'm a share something that I got from Dumar that Dumar got from Allah. Okay? How does a fish get caught?
Fish get caught by following the worm,
By
following
opening its mouth
mine.
and took the
Okay.
bait. It opened its mouth. So I
Mhm.
would never know how foolish you are unless you open your mouth. And let
Mm.
me tell you something, ain't nothing more sexier than somebody who's But there was something you was going to clarify. You want to clarify
No, that's what uh they just it's the internet. That's how they do sometimes, man. You know. But yeah, you that was great. So now we talking about the 5%. Civilized,
yes.
you said the four, what did you say? Four. We know there's
So yeah, so
Muslim
they're
sons,
four
civilized
righteous
people, four
teachers,
righteous teacher, right?
civilized people,
Hmm.
Muslims and Muslim sons.
Sons, right?
So I never really understood a Muslim son. They supposed to be like the white people that are trying to loop back. They want to be civilized, and that's crazy. Like I don't process that well. Like there's white people I engage with, right? But they can never loop themselves back. So like I don't. I'm not the best person to talk about Muslim sons because I don't really understand that shit.
Okay,
That's
that's
a
peace.
waste of time
Okay, that's
for
peace.
me. You know what I mean? Because they
Mhm.
number one to every 11, and you're weak and wicked by nature. You know, you've been made weak boned. And however, I do set up trading posts with grafted people,
Mhm.
and I do enjoy the company. I do enjoy the work I do. They're a great resource. Um, I'm fine with them. I'm not. I just told you. I know they mentally and physically, and they can only imitate what they're around. So if I'm righteous and I'm expressing righteousness, then that's all they can do. They can't bring wickedness there
Mhm.
because they don't have the capability to think. Like let's make our lessons real. They don't. White people don't all of a sudden have this magical power and then they become greater than. Like no,
Mhm.
they only can fuck with those that's weak like them, and that's not me and mines.
Mhm.
So we're that's all I got to say about Muslim sons.
So Muslims. Okay, so you
Muslim.
okay? So Muslim. Okay, so you talk about Muslim sons. All right, all right.
So now Muslims, right? I like Muslims. I like organized religion people. I love them
Mhm.
because they hold fast to rules and regulations, and they be scary as fuck. You be like, ooh, what would Jesus do if he saw? And they get oh yeah. What would Jesus do if he saw you? Ooh, you doing that, and you know God is watching. Ooh, and I love, me personally, I love any organized religion people.
Mhm.
I love setting up trading posts with them. One thing about religious people, they're very clean. They're very clean. They're very
Mhm.
organized. They keep a good home. They're very family oriented. I like all
Mhm.
of those qualities in people. They're the most hardest people to teach. They
Mhm.
don't want that belief and that faith got
Mhm.
a hold on them. That's a
Right.
stronghold. Oh, that's a strong. They have a strong hold. I don't touch my food. We will fight hard and something. The baby trying to take my food. No, I'm being I'm being I'm being attacked by an infant, and she winning. She winning. She beating
Hey,
me. She really beat. Look. Ah!
peace.
So
So
now
so
the
now
young
we
man baby beating me up.
so
Yeah,
we
I
were talking
snitched
about
on you. Look, she
so
broke
we
out.
so we were talking about you. So Muslim sons, you didn't really go in depth into that, which from what I've heard from other gods is Muslim sons are considered Shriners. So that's another subject. You said you couldn't really expound on
Yeah,
that. you don't really expound on that. So to take it into Muslims, so you're saying you
Yeah.
like people from organized religions because they have basically they have structure. They
Yes.
have structure. They have structure. They have a moral code. They have
Yes.
they have something to guide them. Something to guide them. They have something to
Yes.
guide them at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So okay.
But they're into faith,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I have no faith. Um, they have faith. I can relate to them on hope. I
Hmm.
hope I wake up in the morning from resting, you know? I
Hmm.
hope when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm able to move the same way I'm moving today or better, you know? So I hope. I can relate to them with hope. I
Hmm.
hope a lot. Um, I don't have faith. I don't have belief. I'm not a believer. I
Hmm.
need to be shown and prove I'm a scientist. I need to see, hear, smell, touch, taste. My senses have to have to resonate
Right, right.
in
But
whatever.
what do you think about people who claim that there's a sixth sense? Like, I think in sixth senses, intuition is a part of like the sixth sense. Like you don't have to necessarily feel physically or see or touch or what have you, but you can definitely feel a person's vibe when they walk by you or when they around you. Do you think that's just like
No, and that's part of feeling because your physical composition is sensing, right? We're
Mhm.
three dimensional. We're solid, liquid, and gas.
Right.
So we have energy
Mhm.
inside of our skull, right?
Right.
So if your energy is conflicting with my energy,
Mhm.
you're damn right. I'm a feel that, and it's
Right.
I don't agree that it's a sixth sense. It's part of your senses. Maybe
Mm.
you didn't smell it, but you're seeing it.
Mhm.
Your unconscious is seeing the same way. I don't know how I'm breathing, but I know I'm breathing. I don't know how my heart is doing two different things at one time. It's giving blood and it's cleaning blood. What are
Right.
they saying?
The God said intuition should be drawn up from knowledge and wisdom or past experiences.
Yes, I agree with that as well. Because you see things in people, you see their characteristics, you see their
Mhm.
mannerisms. You know, all of that at my age, right? I'm 53 years old. At my age, I should not be easily fooled, even though I was last week by a corporation. We're not going to talk about that right now, but I was easily led in the wrong direction.
Right.
So what you call it, but it wasn't a person. It was a corporation, and
Mhm.
their professional technology
Right.
took over my thirstiness and my desires. So
There you go. There you go.
so they got over on me and they
Mhm.
robbed me. I had to say it 3 times. Now a person, had that company been a person, I seriously doubt that person would have been successful. I'd have been able to see the trickery because
Mhm.
it would have been a one on one. And I
Right.
would have been able to hear and I would have been able to see.
See.
And
Hmm.
my inner self, who people are calling sixth sense, right? My inner self would have registered. My unconscious would have registered to my conscious. Like, no, no, no.
Hmm. Hmm.
They don't love you, okay?
Right.
This is
So
not love knocking at your door.
right. So now,
So,
yes,
yeah, go
yeah, you
ahead.
were getting, so you're saying, oh, so, okay, so you broke down Muslim son, you didn't really want to touch that. Muslim basically structure. All right, now you had two other characteristics.
So
You
they're civilized people.
civilized people.
So
Let's break that down.
yeah, so civilized people are that's very easy. A civilized person, I'm a civilized person, right? I teach knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right?
Hmm.
And I teach freedom, justice, and equality
Fun.
because that's
Hmm.
what a poor righteous teacher does, right? They teach
Right.
freedom, justice. They teach about the black man. They teach about God, the black man, and they also teach freedom, justice, and equality. You know, all. the families on the planet Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So teacher freedom is a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
I took a class in college, a political science class. And the first day of class, the professor quoted me. And my statement was America is not free. And the professor wrote that on the board. And the professor asked everyone if they agreed with me. Nobody agreed with me. So the professor turned back to me and he said, nobody agrees with you. Do you still agree with what you said? And I said, absolutely. So he asked me to show and prove my statement. I said, America is not free because it cost you yourself. And he was like, you have to elaborate. I don't understand that. I said, if you don't have a birth certificate or a social security card, you cannot do anything in America, meaning you
Mm.
cannot get a job. You cannot get education. You cannot get medical benefits. You cannot rent a home. You cannot drive an automobile. So, America is not free. So, if I live in a land that is not free, how do I teach freedom to the people of the land?
Damn. All right. All right. Did you get a grade for that? He didn't give you no extra
So
credits.
everybody in the class, after I said that,
Yeah.
everybody in the class agreed with me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I became like the go-to person in that class
Yeah. Yeah.
after that. But
So we're talking about civilized people.
yeah, so being civilized, having respect, right? Respect is something that I don't see a lot of brothers and sisters in my culture show each other.
Hmm.
I respect was here when I first got the knowledge in the 80s, right? I got
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge in 87. So the respect was there. They were heavy. They were heavy on respect. Um, a lot of elders went to jail. A lot of elders died. A lot of their women left. A lot of people went out of town. So there's a lot of lost here. And respect is one of the things that have been lost. We don't, we, it's something about humanity as humans. We saved the worst of ourselves for the people closest to us. We'll be on our best behavior abroad, but when we're home, we show our ass
What is up
completely.
with that? What is up with that? I
I
noticed
mean,
that.
and today, society, we're in the age of the sassy man.
The
And
sassy man. Woo.
yes,
Woo.
the sassy man. And we see him everywhere, arguing with a woman about nothing. Arguing now, the men in my family don't argue with women. They don't even argue with their women. The men in my family are big on machismo. And like my dad, I dress this way because I'm a man. I have this job because I'm a man. You see my wife? Because I'm a man. She look like that because I'm a man. Everything is I'm a man. And this being a man thing is the greatest thing ever. There's nothing in comparison to being a man.
Mhm.
And I dig it. It's a beautiful thing, right? So that man is gone. We're in the age of the sassy man. That machismo, that man's man, that manly man. That's he's I don't know where he at. He old.
We said this.
Hold on. I don't hear you. Hold on. What happened? I lost the sound. I don't know what happened. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. Oh, let me- my sound is on. Hold on. I'm going to log off. Can you hear me? I hear you low. I don't know what happened. I'm going to log off and I'm going to come right back on my phone. Where's my phone? Ah, yeah. Okay. Now I.
Where is it? Oh my
All
God.
right. You can hear me? Can you hear me? Damn, I can't hear you on this either. I don't know what happened.
Helping.
Everyone can see and hear me. I don't know what happened.
Shit.
Hold on, I'm going back on my laptop. All right, let's try again. Peace.